Good evening, guys. I hope everyone is hearing me. If you're not, please drop me a message. My phone is not secure, so I'm gonna try and be as calm with this as possible. I'm gonna have a conversation with you guys about all that's taken place over the last week and last week to do with little Adriana Young's murder. All right. If you have any questions or want to talk to me through this, please feel free to comment. I'll try to answer as much questions as I can as I go along. But I have a story to tell as I was there and witnessed the catalyst of when things went really bad on Monday. All right. You can also message me on Facebook Messenger. I have my iPad open, so please feel free to drop a message here privately if you want to have any conversation or add to anything I'm saying. Like I said, I will try to answer questions. Please feel free to tune in. All right. I'm going to hit three things in this conversation, okay? The first thing is we are going to talk about what happened on Monday. I'm going to tell you guys a little story about when I went out there in front of the hospital myself and what I witnessed. We are then going to talk about the police and the situation this country is in when it comes to the Guyana police force. Then we are going to talk about the murder. Okay, those are the three things we're hitting on this live right now. Let me start by saying, in no way, shape, or form do I support the hurting, the harming of innocent people. In no way, shape, or form do I support what happened on the road on Monday. Okay. No country, no society should ever have to do that. Nothing should ever lead to that point of violence and aggression on the streets. All right? No matter what the situation is. All right? But let's talk a little bit about how we got to that point. This is a critical part of this whole situation. And I promised I was going to give you guys my version of the truth. What I witnessed with my own two eyes. Not what I saw on a live, not what the internet, not what the politics told me. This is not a political conversation. I don't represent a political party. So for any of you out there that are thinking I'm biased in some way, you can let that nonsense go. I know that's what the PPP are trying to peddle. Just like APNU tried to peddle it in 2020 when I was out there fighting the riggers. Okay? APNU used to say, oh, I'm just a PPP surrogate or a stooge and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Now the PPP are calling me a PNC surrogate and stooge. But I'm going to tell you guys just like I did in 2020, I'm going to tell you guys the truth of what I witnessed. All right? Just like I witnessed APNU trying to rig the election, I witnessed it. I was in the recount. I was in Ashman's building. I was there. I saw it. I'm not coming at you with secondhand information. Now, I'm going to come at you from what took place in front of that hospital on Monday afternoon. So, I got out there at around 3 o'clock. Okay? Now, let me start by saying those people that went out in front of that hospital were out there since 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay? They were there all day. All right? You need to keep that in mind. They were there since morning. All right? Yes, there were some bad elements, getting rowdy, getting frustrated, but all the police had there was two police at the outpost within the public hospital property and a security guard. All right. Now let's make this clear. At any point in time that crowd wanted to get into that hospital, they could have. Okay, because it was only for hours and hours. It was only two police and a security guard holding that thing back. One or two times you saw one or two police come in and out. But other than that, they ain't had no kind of police presence there. What really should have happened at that point in time, from the time you knew that this was a high public profile case, you should have had barricades set up. You should have had police there presence, calming everybody down. You knew this process would have taken long. All right? The pathologists didn't come there and make that up in their heads. You knew what was going to happen. So you should have had a police presence there. You should have had everybody calm. You should have been speaking to the crowd. You should have been letting them know what was going on right through this process. All right? Now, that was the first failing. All right? Those people did stay out there all day. Yes, every now and again they did get rowdy, but nobody pushed it to the limit in which the reaction that came needed. Let me tell you now about the reaction. When I got out there about 3 o'clock, what had happened is I walked behind the crowd up to the gate, up to the entrance of the hospital. All right? And the first thing I noticed was the makeup of the crowd. All right? At 3 o'clock, there was about 70% women and school children. Okay? That's what I witnessed. It was mostly women and school children in front of that hospital. Because at 3 o'clock, the school children just got off of school. All right? Now, what had happened at 3 o'clock, at that point in time, the pathologist, I think they had said they just finished, and now they're going to give the family the results, and they're going to speak about, they're going to speak to the government and whoever else needs to hear before they tell the crowd. At that point in time, the dissemination of information went haywire. They were completely wrong for how they disseminated that information. Because all of us heard from the father. No, at no point in time was there an official release in order to go, or somebody at least to go out to the crowd and say, guys, just to let you know, we will come and give you an official word in a few minutes. We're just talking to the family. Nothing like that. So, by the time the people saw the family being spoken to, they started to get riled up. Okay? Let me tell you the truth, there were a few elements. Bad elements in the crowd, sorry. If you were to ask me, I noticed at 3 o'clock, maybe about 10 or 15 guys that, might have been there to cause a problem. Okay? And I'll tell you as it is. Out of the hundreds of people out there, okay, people who just came from work, people who have been out there all day, and then there were these couple guys just kind of placed around that you kind of went, you know what, if anything were to go bad, it would probably be these guys. The police at that point in time could have done the right thing if they were trained properly. The first thing they should have done is put up the barricades. But secondly, what they could have done is they could have calmly gone and removed those bad elements from that crowd. And nobody would have been behaving bad. Okay? If the correct police strategy was in place, all of this would have stayed calm. Okay? Now, this is where I sat down and I was listening and watching what was going on. The crowd was getting a little bit more riled up. And at that point in time, you started to hear, the little whispers of, they can't do this to us again. This is the same thing happened to me family and me ain't get no answers. These police, they always trying to cover up murders. Those were what the people were saying in the crowd. Okay? Again, you can't see this on a live. You can't hear this. I am standing there with those people. Now, what I couldn't believe happened, as I was standing at the back of the crowd, a police van then showed up with brown clothes, I don't know, TSU, whoever they are, riot police. And partner, those people just jump out of the vehicle, start pushing people and shooting. Okay? Just like the. They just jump out of the vehicle and start pushing people and shooting. The crowd reacted. Things went haywire. Okay? Now, as I just told you the makeup, it was 70% women. Okay? Everybody, including myself, now running. Okay? We running. They shooting in we direction. We gone up the road. We're now at East and Middle. Okay? And I'm standing there at East and Middle on the corner. All right? And everybody runs and we run around the corner because the police coming up Middle Street. So the police had stopped. First they cleared the crowd at the entrance to the hospital. And what had happened is everybody ran around the corner and kind of grouped there. Now, that is the point in which all these women and so on started to group up. And that's the point when they were like, no, we not accepting this. We been here whole day. And we want the results. We want to hear what happened. We want to hear if this girl get murdered. And this is how these police treat we. And you started to hear yes, they come in me village last week and they ransacked my neighbor house and they looking for something and they find it and they just left and broke up all of them people thing. And you're hearing yes, it's the same police, it's the ones who beat up me son and left you there with no reasoning, and they lock you up for 2 days. It's the same police come and they rape me daughter. I know he's a policeman and they never do nothing and I ain't got nobody for call. And it's the same police and they can try and get away with this little girl murder. Now, I'm not saying all of these are factual. What I'm telling you is what I heard in the crowd. Okay? What happened after that was all of them women get on their phone because now they vex. And it was the women get on the phone. And the women pick up the phone and you could see them walking up East Street. You could see them walking all over the junction there. Calling their husband and their son and whoever else. And say, they're shooting at we. Come, you gotta help we. They're shooting at we now. At that point in time is when all the bad elements showed up. Okay? Those are when the bad elements showed up. Because it was the women that called men to come and protect them from the police that's shooting at them. Okay? I telling you this because I was there. All right? Now, this is where I think it was the catalyst of everything going bad. You heard the father himself state, I posted the video. You heard the father himself, and I posted it because I saw that them police just start shooting at people. They're firing the rubber bullets. And they're just behaving bad. And it's something that didn't need to happen. They didn't need to behave like that. They could have been there since earlier. And that crowd would have not reacted in that same way. And that is what led to the father reacting the way he did. All right? Now, from that point on is when you saw that man run. A police van showed up with a whole set of shields in the tray. And you want to know how that guy got the shield? Well, at that point, it was about 15, 20 minutes, almost half an hour after all of that started, the police van show up. And when they were driving by, they slowed down right at the junction where all of us were. And one of the man snatched, one of the guys all of them by done tie up their face something. They snatched the shield from the back of the pickup. Because the pickup had slowed down to like pass the barrier or whatever. And they snatched the they slowly passed the people and they snatched the shield out. And that's how that man ended up in a shield in the popular video that you've seen all over the place. Just so you know. All right? Now, when those bad elements came out, it was an all-out war after that. All right? It was all-out war. At that point in time, I'm not making excuses for the bad elements. I definitely not making excuses for the police. All right? It was a war after that. Everybody had to defend themselves. Even myself, I had to run for cover, bullets firing, bottles throwing, blah, blah, blah. I end up till down the road in public hospital. All right? Guys, at that point in time is when the father came out. We saw it on our phones. The father came out and said, whatever he said, these guys shooting at us, these people here to support. And this thing spread like wildfire all across this country. This wasn't Georgetown. All right? This was every village or every other village all across the coast, all across up the bank, Georgetown, over the river, this all the way up. I think I heard they had problems at Mabura Trail, right? So we have to understand the scale of what occurred on Monday, and we have to assess, firstly, why those people all went out on the road and did what they did. Thousands of people. This is not really. The police charge were 15 people today. Now at the end of the day, 15 people did not drive all the way up to Barbies, all the way over the river, all the way up the bank and start all of these problems. Okay? We know that there were thousands of people on the road all Monday night. Okay? Not one or two. I'm not sitting here either and blaming the police for how things had to escalate at that point. All right? The police had to do what they had to do and get the army out to get that crowd under control. Those people, abusing the elderly, the homeless, those people robbing them stores, they need to get locked up. Okay? They need to go to jail. They were wrong for what they did. All right? There's no excuse for it. But what we as a society need to do now is we need to understand why it happened, and more importantly, how to not let it happen again. Okay? So I'm giving you my story from out there, from the catalyst of when this whole thing went haywire. Now, I want to talk to you about the police. All right? What I saw from the police outside there, did the police at no point in time needed to go to that level of aggression. Okay? And when I saw the police come out there with that level of aggression, I started to ask myself questions. Why would you come out and be this aggressive without talking to anybody? Why would you not come and calmly look at the crowd and say, guys, if you keep throwing bottles, we're going to collect the ones. So just to get a little understanding, I have been in high tense areas, high emotional areas all around the world, all right, when there's been problems, okay? I was in Egypt just before they revolted, all right? What, 15, 20 years ago, all right? That was a catalyst of what I felt in tension in a society. And when people gathered, the police quickly got together and they came out and they took the ones that were creating the issues and they removed them from the situation. Calmly, they just came and collected the bad ones. If you see a man throw a bottle, you monitor the crowd, you collect that man. Because people are allowed to gather once they're peaceful. I agree. But what they did there was wrong. All right, full stop wrong. Now, I want to get back to the stories, to what those women were saying. All right? And that I think is the most important. And the message was, they not gonna do this to we again. They not getting away with covering up the murder of this little girl. This was these people's emotions coming out because of what they have dealt with and witnessed in their lives. Okay? That is what happened. This wasn't political. Don't let anybody tell you. If you believe that what happened in front of that hospital that started this whole thing was political, then you need to reassess. You need to rethink the way you view Guyana. All right? Because they got people suffering. They got the police that are making people's lives difficult. Okay? And everyone in this country, now let me make this clear to y'all. Everyone in this country has a story about what the police has done to them. Okay? Everybody has a story about how the police didn't help them, did not help them. Everyone has one of those stories. All right? Because of that, you have to accept that the system has already failed. Now, we despise the fact that this country had to degrade itself to what it did on Monday, but we have to not let it happen again. And the first thing that has to happen is the police force needs to be fixed. Okay? I'm going to tie this in with something that the vice president and the president did not hit on in their press conferences, in which, I can get into that. Don't let me get into politics yet. But this was a failing of the police again. It was a failing of the police in Linden that caused those riots and those problems a couple of weeks ago. We all have heard stories all across this country where people have murdered people. The police have murdered people. There's been murders that the police have covered up. There's been issues with the police, taking bribes and not helping people in abuse situations. And I sit here and I can't help but, I gotta be cautious with my words. I know there's lots of people after me, all right? And I'm not inciting violence as much as you want to believe, the politics. I don't believe in that at all, right? We hear, you know what? I might as well say it, all right? I can be outward with it. The reality is, at this point in time, this country is so frustrated that they have tried peaceful protesting, and I want any of you in this country to tell me where it has gotten us. Because for all the women out there, okay? For all the women out there, I know they're going to cut these clips. I know they're going to try and make this into a big story like I inciting something. I'm not, okay? I wish peaceful protesting would be the right option. And if the police handled the situation properly, peaceful protesting would be the right option. All right? Now, at the end of the day, we have reached a point in society where People are so frustrated and so many victims of this system that they don't have a choice. They are angry, they are frustrated, and you can take this any way you want, and it's a failing of both the PPP and the PNC because this didn't start yesterday. All right? The police are to be blamed. If people don't feel secure in a country, the country will crumble. Okay? The good in society will take their protection into their own hands. What they did on that street was wrong. What they did on Monday was wrong. But we have to figure out why they are doing it. Now, I look at all, I took a couple of days because I didn't want Tiana, you need to sign off because it's some glitch on your thing that just keeps showing that you are watching. It's like 100 times. So you can come off. Anyway, I think it's just filling up because I can't really see the comments and I'd like people to comment and chime in. With that said, I need us to break down now where the failings of the police are and what the solution is. Right? The solution to this is depoliticizing the police. That's the solution here, okay? Depoliticize the police. All right? What does that mean? At this very moment, now let me just educate you guys here. At this very moment, the police commissioner is a political appointee. The police fall under the executive arm of the government, all right, which is headed by the president, which falls under the Ministry of Home Affairs. And because of that, the current police commissioner is answerable to the president. All right? As much as they want to say that this is not political, there has to be accountability all the way up. And I try to explain this as much as I can to everyone. If the police are not being held accountable by their bosses, then they will continue to act the way they do and treat citizens the way they do. Okay? If you have police killing in Linden, if you got 100 pounds of weed found in a police car trunk, if you got 100 kilograms of cocaine that has gone missing from the police headquarters from evidence, if you got the police that clearly aided in covering up Adriana's murder over the river, then you have a problem at the top. All the way at the top. This is not one element of the police. This is not a rogue police over the river that did bad. I just gave you examples from all over the country, which means the entire police force has crumbled now. Did you need the entire police force is basically a criminal entity? Okay? You have to accept that. Now at this point in time, if the women out there, if all the civil society groups are out there protesting, marching, saying we need to stop abuse, we need to stop child molestation, we need to stop gender-based violence, and it's continuing and growing, well, my question to you then is, what will work? How do you stop it? Who is to be held accountable then? You have to start taking this personally. You have to start sitting there saying to yourself, well, is the security of this country situation really changing? No, it's not. No, it's not. Okay? Because they just came out with the statistics that every month, 300 cases of child molestation and sexual assault are reported to the police. Okay? Only 50% of those lead to charges. Now listen to this carefully. 50% of those lead to charges, and only 10% of that 150 charges lead to conviction. That means of 300 reported cases of sexual assault and child molestation every month in Guyana, only 15 people go to jail. Now that has to be a breakdown in our system. That has to mean that from all the way at the top, things have broken down. Because clearly the levels of investigation, the way evidence is handled, the way witnesses are handled has failed. Most of these crimes are botched at the crime scene itself. Okay? And let me talk about, drop it in the comments. Just out of curiosity, would you guys rather me explain to you how this system can be fixed? Or do you want me to talk a little bit, and this is where it gets political, do you want me to talk about how I can design a whole construct for you here of how the police are being used to divide this country? Those are the two things that I can branch off with here. If you want me to be solution-based, I am happy to do it. Or do you need me to point out more on the political side of why the solutions are not being implemented? Because it's not rocket science. All right? I could easily start by telling you right now, the police right off the bat, okay? The police commissioner, you need to put a constitutional board in place in which people from civil society, people from the private sector, people from all political parties in parliament, not just the PPP and the PNC, which want to take up all the board spaces, people from all political parties, because all of those people represent people in this country, need to be on the commission. You need to have part of the judiciary, maybe the Bar Association, and then you can even bring in international, maybe representatives from CARICOM. And that is a constitutional body that needs to come together and decide who the police commissioner is. Your first question might be, well, how many options do we have? Well, what needs to be created then? And guys, please don't think I'm a genius or something. All I'm doing is regurgitating what the rest of the world does. I'm just telling you a system that everybody else uses. Okay? This is not, I'm not reinventing the wheel here. This is not the idea out of my head. Okay? Now, what needs to happen, okay, is those groups of people need to come together, all of them together, not decided. Those members cannot be decided by the president. Those members cannot be decided by the ministry and the minister. Those people need to be constitutionally appointed. So the government don't get to make that decision themselves. And all those people need to come together and decide who the police commissioner is. And then the police commissioner, before he's even selected, needs to fit certain criteria. You know, when you're applying for a job, you need to have certain requirements to job, certain years of experience, certain levels of education, certain years of experience, blah, 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 right? All those things need to occur for a police commissioner to be chosen. He needs to be qualified. He needs to be chosen on merit, not on political appointment like it is right now. Okay? So that's the first thing that needs to happen to solve this problem. And what happens there now is the police not taking direction from the president no more. The police ain't taking direction from the government, from the politics. They are an independent body that has been put in place. And you know what else? There needs to be legislation. This is simple stuff. Again, the wheel don't need to be invented. Don't think this is complicated. Oh my God, how we can do the key and the hard. No. Just take it from other parts of the Caribbean. Just take it from other developed countries. Now, there's certain code of conduct that needs to occur. And then there has to be certain targets and goals that need to be met. Crime needs to be brought down. Traffic accidents need to be brought down. Violent crimes need to be brought down. Gender-based violence need to be brought down. And if those are not results-oriented, if those things do not get better after your performance is assessed every year, every 6 months, every quarter, I don't care, then you will be let go. Okay? If you are caught as a police commissioner being corrupt or doing things illegal like covering up murders, you're going to jail. Okay? That is how it works everywhere in the world. So depoliticize the police force. Let them be independent, and then make sure that they are held accountable. Okay? If the country's crime rate is increasing, you are not doing your job as a commissioner of police. You need to get out of the position. Another man going in there. Okay? Police training. We can bring in international organizations that will train our police. From the beginning, police need to be trained. They need to go to police school. Okay? You need to be trained in the police to be a police. You need to have a level of education. You need to be able to read and write. Half we police can't read and write. Okay? So right off the bat, show me the criteria to become a police. Show me what the levels they need to meet to be a police. Okay? So right off the bat, you're hiring better people. The salaries are better because it's a higher qualified job. And then from that point now, we get into the promotions. Well, tell me how a police getting promoted. Okay? And that's where everything now is combined. They need to have certain accolades. They need to have better their education. You can actually get a degree in law enforcement. It's a real thing. Okay? Public management, public security. All right? They have to have certain experience. Okay? And then again, no notches on their reputation. You can't have been accused of corruption, blah, blah, blah. All right? Things like that are now going to be decided on how you get promoted. Not, listen, I can tell you stories about people paying their senior officers to recommend them for promotion. Okay? I could tell you these stories. And if you don't know this going on in Guyana, then they're real bad. You really don't know what's going on in this country. Okay? I can tell you stories of the politicians going and handpick their people and promoting them. Okay? That's what's going on in Guyana. You want to ask about all these police and how they get in these positions and how they're going about not carrying themselves properly? Well, you got to figure out first how they reach in them positions. That's what's important. Okay? Those are I just touching on the solutions here. All right? Some of the solutions, because it starts with the police. All of this right now going on in Guyana is focused on the shortcomings, failures, corruption of the police force. Okay? All of this. All of it. Because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into Adriana's murder. Okay? And how the police, if the police did their job properly from the beginning, this would have never happened. Okay? This is a simple story. Let me first say, you ain't gaslighting me. I don't care what you say, okay? You ain't gaslighting me. All right? You ain't gaslighting nobody in Tushin. I been there, I talked to them people. Okay? That protester, that burning in Tushin, that wasn't politics. All of them know that there was a murder being covered up. Ask anybody over the river. Everyone knows, everybody who was there on the ground and witnessed it knows that was a murder being covered up. You're not going to gaslight us. You're not going to come to we and tell we the girl dead from drowning, it was an accident. That girl was not in that pool. Okay? We all saw it. We were all there. You're not going to, let me tell you, actually, I need to drift off into this just for 2 seconds. I get views from my friends and family who have told me, stick to the topic. Because this is important, all right? What is currently going on? If you listen to the press conference of the president and you listen to the press conference of the vice president today, they are setting up that nobody is going to go to jail for this murder. Okay? They are setting up to make all of us believe that this was an accident. That is what they are doing. Okay? They are trying to convince us that this was an accident. All right? If you listen to the way they're talking and what they're talking about, they are trying to make us believe that this wasn't a murder, that girl been in that pool that whole time. She was not in that pool. We all saw so many images. The family said, the grandmother, even the police said that pool was searched over and over and over. Okay? You will not convince us. Let me also state. Nobody, just so you understand how drowning works. Nobody don't drown in 1 single second. Nobody don't jump in a pool and drown and dead. That girl would have been fighting for her life for at least 1.5 minutes. You telling me nobody didn't see that girl fighting up in that pool for 1.5 minutes? Nobody didn't see that girl fighting for her life? All them witnesses who been there, you can't tell me that girl dead in the pool? How? Even if she was flailing around at the bottom like you're trying to convince us, it's impossible that nobody saw it. Okay? And then when the police reach there, first of all, the body don't just shoot up. The body don't just, it's not a missile from the bottom and shoot up. All the police were standing there when that little girl body was found in that pool. None of y'all police see that girl body coming up and jump in that pool or try to save she or try to do something. All of y'all just calmly watch this body slowly rise to the top and y'all said nothing until the people run in there and do it themselves. Were you telling me, partner? That's not possible. That's not logical. You are gaslighting this country. Okay? You are gaslighting all of us. This is a murder that was covered up. Go to Tushin, talk to all them people. Talk to anybody that was there. Talk to hundreds of people that were at that hotel. Everybody knows this was a covered up murder. And that means the police are complicit. Okay? Any way you twist or turn this. So another, we're going back to, partner, if you can't find the person that murdered them, that murdered this child, if you can't find the person that murdered this child, come out and say that. Come out and take accountability that you and your police force has failed. And then you can lock up all the police that didn't do their job. Because what else they didn't do is they failed to secure that crime scene. They let the whole place burn to the ground with all the evidence. Okay? I don't care if you call it obstruction of evidence. I don't care what you call it. All those police failed to secure that crime scene. So they are complicit. They are part of the cover-up of this murder. You can't convince me anything different. She was not in that pool. Okay? We know she ain't been in the pool. All the people in Tushin who been there know that girl went in the pool. She whole family, she father, everybody knows she went in the pool. And if you don't find the murderer, then the police better be going to jail. Okay? Good luck trying to figure this out. Now, I want to hit something key and important in this, okay? This is what's key in this. If there's one thing that politicians are scared of, the PPP and the PNC politicians are scared of, they're scared of this country uniting. They're scared of Indian and black coming together, okay? And that is what happened in Tushin, and that is what happened in this situation, okay? This entire country united. And here, I got PPP people all over me Facebook, okay? Because in 2020, when I get popular for being a guardian of democracy, the PPP all thought I was their friend. No, partner, I been out there talking the truth. I was not defending anybody. The PPP won the election. I defended it because I spoke the truth, okay? They truly won the election. I saw it. I count the votes myself. I've been in the tabulation room every day, okay? They won the election. Now I telling the truth again, all right? Now I telling the truth again. That girl was murdered and the police are covering this thing up because they don't want this country to come together. All right? The politics are covering this thing up and not holding anybody accountable because they don't want the people to come together. Because the minute the people come together, they ain't got no control anymore. So all them PPP people on my Facebook, I don't see them typing, this is a murder, that girl definitely was murdered, blah, blah, blah. So their own people, the PPP own people, don't know this is a murder. And they realized, wait a second. We losing, we own people here because nobody can take accountability for this. So we need to divide this country again. Okay? And what we are witnessing now from the PPP and the PNC is them dividing this country. They're making everything political now. Okay? Everything is political now for them. Listen to any of them press conferences. It's all politics. These are PNC people out there causing trouble. These are PNC people. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It was PNC people in Tushin causing trouble? Or them people that fighting to make sure the police didn't cover up this murder? Because it's Indian and black people out there together, burning things in the streets. Okay? My question to you is, are you going to let these people divide this country? Are you going to let the politicians try to gaslight everybody into thinking different things so we all start fighting each other again? We all know this was a murder. And the politics now, to avoid accountability, to avoid any systematic change, they are going to try and convince us that Adriana Young was not murdered. That's what they're trying to do. And I need y'all to get it through y'all head right now. Okay? And don't let them divide you. What happened on the road is horrible. What happened to all the protesting is horrible. We cannot allow that to happen again. All right? This should never be allowed to happen again. The Dunce thugs come in and they cause their own problems there and they start to do nonsense and they all need to be locked up for it. I tell y'all right here, they need to be locked up for it. Anybody that robbed them Chinese place, anybody that beat up people, anybody that caused terrorism, lock them up. Okay? Send them to jail. Okay? You guys have to maintain unity in getting justice for this little girl. This is our only option. Okay? Because if they allow us to be divided, if we allow ourselves to be divided, and nobody takes accountability for this, it's going to happen again. Okay? More children are going to die. All right? And I'm going to bring up something so true to my heart because it was me alone when let me not say that. Me and I don't want to call a name, but Somebody, it was two of us alone on that road at the beginning. All right? There's only two of us on that road in front of President House on Main Street that were protesting what happened in Madhya. Okay? Nobody else can come out because at that time, we need to give the government a chance, let them do what they're doing. This can't happen again. Okay? It was only two of us on that road. All right? Me and that person stood up there by ourselves with our placards and the PPP come after us on how we bad. All right? This can't happen again. Because you know what happened when nobody joined us? You know what happened since the Madhya fire? Nothing. Nothing has happened. Okay? Don't pretend like more schools ain't burned down already. Don't pretend like nobody has taken accountability for the school safety in this country. Okay? So if the system keep failing, if nobody's held accountable, then the system will keep failing. Okay? Getting back to this young lady's murder. Okay, getting back to her murder. We have to come out in our numbers. We have to make sure the bad elements. I'm happy I'm doing this video before her funeral. Okay? Because we can't allow the dunce dogs and the bad elements to come in and cloud the accountability that needs to happen and the justice that needs to happen. And I need all of you to understand that. And especially all of you that feel like the police have done this, and I tell you right now, I talking to the people who've been out there in front of Tushin, the people who've been out there in front of the hospital, the poor families, the ones, I talking to the mothers out there whose sons and husbands were the ones on the road causing trouble. All right, I talking to y'all on Monday night. I pleading with y'all right now. We begging y'all to keep this peaceful. Because if this is kept peaceful, accountability will be had. Because everybody in this country will unite, all right? And we will force justice. I know it sounds like how you're going to do the people's protest, gender-based violence, people's protest when women get abused and murdered, people's protest, these things all the time and nothing will happen. I understand. I know that you feel like peaceful protests don't do nothing. And I hear you and I understand it. But in this case, it's one of the few opportunities we have. It's one of the few where this whole country, PPP and PNC, are united in understanding that this is a covered up murder. Let the government do their job. Let all of us see if they're going to hold anybody accountable and if this little girl will get justice. And when, not even if, when there's no justice, because they ain't even got a crime scene now, let's see if the right people will be held accountable. Let's see what they do. Just keep it peaceful. Because if we are united, they ain't got no choice. They're going to have to answer to our questions. Because we all know that little girl was murdered. I beg in y'all, all right? Just think of it. They are trying to cause problems in society. They're trying to turn this into a racial war. They're trying to say, actually, guys, I got something I want to mention here. And I actually want some comments on it. Please help me out here because I promise you it's a genuine question. It's not with motives or anything. Guys, I am missing the connection of this horrific acid attack on these little children and that teacher. I'm missing the connection of that acid attack and this and Adriana Young's murder. I'm missing the connection. I have not why is it that it keeps getting spoken about? Like we have proof that is a result of what took place with Adriana Young's murder. I don't understand the connection because they keep talking about it. They keep the government. I listened to the president bring it up at this press conference. I listened to the vice president bring it up again. It is horrible what happened to those children. They need to be locked up. But I don't understand why we are connecting those two things. Why is it that two young Afro-Guyanese on motorbike that they claim did it, we up to now, we see a video, has attacked these two little children in Monrepo, and this is a racist attack. I'm sorry. Again, I'm not saying that I know the facts, but how are those two things connected? Why are we saying? Because in my mind, until I get proof of that, this is fear-mongering. You are just telling people, and particularly Indian people out there, to be scared of black people. That's what you're saying. But you haven't proven that these things are connected, and I have a problem with that. That's fear-mongering. You're making society scared. I don't understand it. And if any of you guys have proof, and I'm asking you on my live right now, if any of you have proof right now that acid attack was based on what is occurring with Adriana Young's situation, please make the connection for me. Because as of right now, I just look at it as a horrible attack, and those people need to be found and locked up. But I don't think everybody needs to be speaking about it in the political world. Where every single crime we need to talk about, and we're now connecting it to one situation, to racism. Why? That's fear-mongering, okay? Now, at some point in time, guys, you have to now use your own common sense and take every situation from this point forward, because the funeral is still to come. Every point now, you need to decide, wait a second, is this fear-mongering, or is this them trying to gaslight us and cover up and deflect? Because that's all that's happening in my eyes. It's only deflection. I don't want to talk about Adriana Young's murder anymore, okay? Because they've already seen 10 steps forward, and that ain't going nowhere in their mind, okay? And they're trying to convince us that I wasn't a murder. So let me talk about other things and separate society. They talk about unity. They pretend like it's unity they want, okay? But at the same time, that's fear-mongering. And you guys have to start figuring this out, all right? And I'm pleading with all of you, all right? These are the basic elements of what's going on in Guyana, all right? Moving from the story, girl, focus on... Good. So people are messaging and they want to hear police accountability, okay? Police accountability, all right? I told you guys just now. Cocaine gone missing, 300 cases of child molestation every single month, and increasing. What happened in Linden, where, thank God, we saw on video that police murdered that boy. Thank God that was on video. And now we have the police clearly covering up Adriana Young's murder. Okay, we clearly saw that. So at this point in time, guys, this is a police problem. And who is taking accountability for the police? Is the commissioner of police stepping down? Okay? Is the government or is the president going to fire the police commissioner? Let me point out something, and I think this is a super important one to talk about. The fact that that commander over the river was moved to Region 4, and people freak out, and all over everybody cussing and abusing about it. Only then did he get sent home. Which means they tried to push this off already. Okay? They tried to push this off already. They tried to sweep this under the rug already. But you guys have to hold united. Okay? We have to get unity, and we all have to come together and ensure that there is justice for this young child. Because everybody in Guyana, the poorest who are suffering the most at the hands of the police, want to see this situation come to a conclusion and people get locked up. Okay? That this girl gets justice. Okay? So, on that note, guys, if I have anything, I see the police, the PPP trying, sending the people out here that I was fear-mongering and blah, blah, blah. I do not support in any way, shape, or form violence on the streets. All right? All right, you can come at me all you want, but I will tell you as it is. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. Just like, just to throw this one out there for the PPP supporters, all right, the really hardcore ones that love the PPP and they could never do no wrong. Well, you're sounding just like the APNU supporters in 2020. When I told the APNU supporters every night when I was guarding ballot boxes that APNU rigging the election, they used to come on me live and they used to say, I'm a horrible, I'm a liar, I'm a bad person, I'm crazy. They used to do all of this. I've been here, done this, folks. All right? Been here, done it. All right? And I will only come out here to tell the truth because I don't have any motivation. I don't have any skin in this game. I don't give a rat's ass who you vote for. Okay? The truth is, you want my political opinion? Don't vote for PPP or PNC. Both of them are nasty. And any supporters that's supporting PPP and PNC, y'all are the problem. I will tell you, I can stand by my words because I saw the videos going around. I will stand by my words. If you're supporting the PPP and the PNC, you are the problem in the country. Okay? Those two parties are the sickness in Guyana. Okay? Both of them have let this country fail, has let this country sink. Okay? Vote for anybody else. You can't stay home. You cannot stay home. Vote. I don't care if it's 10 party running, because more parties gonna run in the election. Vote for any of them. Just don't vote for PPP and PNC. Okay? Spread the power around. Let everybody nobody get full power, and let all the power circulate, and then everybody gotta work with one another. Okay? That's the unity. You want unity, you're claiming unity, put that together. Okay? That's my political opinion to do. I ain't promoting no political party. All I'm telling you right now is don't vote PPP and PNC. None of the two of them. Okay? That's all I'm telling you. I don't care who else you vote for. Don't care. So if the PPP want to believe I PNC and the PNC want to believe I PPP, all two of the groups nasty. All two of the political parties nasty. And only care about remaining in power. Okay? They just want to be the two of them alone, and they got all the power. And the police will not change. The system's going to not change. All of them had enough chances already. They have failed all of us. Okay? You guys have to do better. And I can tell you this again one last time. We are unified here, guys. All of us together. Okay? All of us together. We know that little girl, Adriana Young, I will say her name right, by the way. Because both the vice president in his press conference today and the president all said her name wrong. Okay? That just goes to show you how much these people care. Okay? We are unified in getting justice for that little girl. Okay? Do not let the dunce thugs, the PNC, the PPP, nobody separate us. We will get answers if we hold together. Okay? And if we don't get answers, we know where the system has failed. Okay? If nobody don't go to jail, if the police commander don't step down, if the police commissioner don't step, we know where the system has failed. Hold together. Okay? You have to be together on this. Stop with the stupid politics. We don't care. This is just to make sure that we are protected. And if you don't care about Adriana Young, you don't care about the murder, you don't care about nothing, then be unified in getting answers to make sure that if it happened to you, the system will work and you will be helped. Okay? Where is the owner? Somebody just write there. Fantastic question. How are they not held right now? How are they not under police watch at the moment? Making sure they can't go nowhere, they can't run Suriname. How much people is fleeing go Suriname and Brazil? Y'all gotta make sure these people are held. Okay? Y'all gotta make sure that these people are on the police watch. Y'all or any. I know. I feel like that poor doctor that was trying to explain to everybody how the postmortem went, and everybody, he just plead. He's like, every time he said, he's like, I know. Every time I say police, y'all get vexed. I know, and I feel the same way. But if you didn't do your job then, do your job now. That's my opinion. Okay? Did somebody write it? What happened to the cotton in her nose? Okay? What about the cotton in her nose? There's so many unanswered questions that we all saw. All right? And somebody asked him, somebody, again, just look at the PPP people on the live. They voted for me. Partner, I'm a dual citizen. I'm not running. I am not part of the government. I will never be part of the government. I will never sit in parliament. Okay? I have no interest in politics. I don't want to be here. But I have a family here. Okay? I have to make sure that at least I am talking to you guys. I'm at least making you guys aware. I'm at least educating people. I'm at least giving my opinion to help build the country. I'm not just sitting down quiet. This is a cover-up. You are right. This is a cover-up. And the police, and I can say this again, at bare minimum, that hotel was burned down and the police failed to secure that crime scene, and they need to be held accountable. If you can't tie nothing to the who actually murdered this child, because she was not in that pool. We know she was put in that pool. You will not gaslight this whole town. Right? You will not gaslight all of us. She was not in that pool. Okay? I don't care what the president said. I don't care what the vice president come out and say. I don't care what the PPP, the PNC said. We all, with our eyes, that little girl was not in that pool. Okay? Don't lie to us. This is murder that is being covered up. All right? And then again, I could tell you, I could easily have seen that thing, when they realize they get catch, they burn the hotel down. Okay? And if the police allow that to happen, then they need to be held accountable. Okay? This is the police failing from start to finish. And you guys need to be unified in that. Do not, again, I'm pleading with the mothers out there. Okay? If you know your son and your father or your husband are the ones that are out there looting and burning things in the street and robbing Chinese and doing all of these horrible things and beating up poor people, stop them. Tell them that's not helping. Because we're already unified. This is all class of people, all race of people, unified in getting answers. And I promise you, if we hold together, they can not answer all of us. They have to respond. Okay, I promise you. Just keep that in your mind. I know it might not make sense. Okay, I know you're suffering. I know you're vexed. I promise you. I promise you we will get answers. And again, if we don't get answers, then they're going to vote out this government. They're going to not vote for PNC either. And we're going to get new people in there to do better. Okay? This is a peaceful protest. I tell you right now, I will be front and center at any peaceful protest. Okay? I will be there. Okay? With my plaque, with my candle, with whatever. Okay? We have to stand together. Okay, guys? Do not, I'm just preaching to y'all, don't let them divide us. This is politics. The PPP and the PNC, I'm going to call them out. As soon as Norton go on there, he come out and he said, the PPP infiltrate. The PPP send people there for cause problems. And then Irfan come out and say, the PNC send the thugs out. The PNC cause all of this. They're both blaming each other. Y'all see the blame game. Y'all see that they're trying to divide us. And then all y'all getting up in your, and here. And oh gosh, for the young people out there, like myself, oh God, the racism, buddy. Oh God, how we tired of the racism. These people nasty, okay? All of them, and I can say it again, all you racist PPP supporters and all you racist APNU supporters, PNC supporters, they are the plague in this country. Because them and their racism separating us. Do not let them do it. Do not let them fear-monger us, okay? Do not let them point at each other and say, it's your fault. No, it's your fault. That's what they're doing to us. Hold together, guys. Just hold together. I promise y'all, I can be there. I ain't got no skin in the game. I ain't political in this. I got y'all. I will be there to make sure I will tell the truth again. I was there at that protest when that thing started off. Y'all, just make sure y'all keeping y'all head on because this thing far from over. I listened to that vice president press conference today. Again, fear-mongering, right? Trying to everybody that speaks out like me, right? Bring up all we posts and say, look at them. They're trying to divide us. No, partner. Nobody trying to divide us, okay? We are pointing out the failures in the system, okay? Yes, there are political people out there that are causing problems from the PPP and the PNC, okay? They're both PPP and PNC causing problems. Then there are us in the middle that are not causing problems, all right? We just pointing out clearly the failures of the system. So I'm going to tell all y'all again, all right? I am here. I got my show on Friday. We can talk about this a little bit more. And you guys, do not let them fear-monger you. That little girl was murdered. Okay? She was not in that pool. And they are covering this up. Do not let them lie to you. I promise you in my heart, do not. They are trying to turn this into, wait a second, the pathologists tell us that this wasn't forceful drowning. How you know that? Okay? You can't prove, a pathologist can't prove how that little girl drowned in the pool. Okay? Or drowned anywhere else. Or drowned in a bathtub or drowned in a thing. Even if it's pool water, it don't matter. Okay? That girl was not in that pool. You will not fear-monger us. That you will not gaslight us. She was not in that pool. Okay? Come together, guys. All right? That's my last message. Come together. Do not let them lie to you. Do not let them gaslight you. This, for example, all right? Just like the Mahdia fire and the schools that have no accountability. Just like the gender-based violence, the domestic violence, the violence against children that are not being addressed and nobody's being held accountable. These are systematic failures. The police are failing in all of these, in different systems around the country. Okay? You're learning quickly. I'm going to end this now. You're learning quickly that all your money in the world can't protect you if the whole society sink. Okay? All your money can't help you. All we on this boat together. All we. And if it going down, you're coming down with all we. So your money ain't doing nothing. All right? So you better be prepared, because what happened on Monday has affected everybody financially. All right? So if you think you're just protecting money and you just worried about yourself, well, guess what? When it spill out into the streets, it will affect all of us. So we need to make sure we do our part to make sure it doesn't do that, and we stand unified. All right? And we do what's best to get justice for Adriana together, peacefully. All right, guys, on that note, thank you for joining me. Again, I can try, as things progress, I can do some more lives to talk about it from my perspective. All right? Take care.